What's up, everybody? Welcome to our junior high interactive family experience. My name is Pastor Ethan. Thanks so much for participating with the family today. Today is August 8th. That means that junior high camp is 1 week away. It also means that today is the deadline to get your registration forms in. You have until midnight tonight to sign up and join us for 4 days of epicness. I can't believe that in 8 days, we get to hang out for 4 days straight, one more weekend until we're making memories that will last a lifetime, one more Monday until we split into teams and compete for an epic table filled with prizes. If you haven't registered yet, make sure you hit up the link in the video description right below me. Register before it's too late. It's only $20 to register, and if you've got multiple siblings in junior high, it's only $40 for all of you. So click the link below to register. We can't wait to see you at camp. All right, let me tell you what you can expect for today. In a moment, we are going to fill out an online connection card. So parents, get your smartphones ready. We're going to have some friendly family competition. We're going to head into week 4 of our series about change. And then all throughout our teaching video today, we are going to pause and have some great discussion. Now, I just want to remind all of our parents watching today that you are the ones who will be leading those discussions. And those discussion questions can be found and downloaded from an email I sent out yesterday. They can also be found in our junior high Facebook group. If you didn't get that email or if you haven't joined our group, make sure you let me know so we can send that out to you. Why? Because it really is the best way to do these interactive experiences. It's by leading those discussions with your student. In fact, it's the entire reason why we do this every week, so that you can have a clearer window into the spiritual development of your student and to create a space where you're helping them grow into everything that God created them to be. So, if you need to pause the video and go download those discussion guides, please do so now. We are about to get into our series, but before we do, we would love to hear from you. We want to stay connected, and so we have a connection card where we can do that. It's basically like signing our guest book. And so if you pull out your phone, head to the LakePoint app. It's right on the main page of the app. It only takes 60 seconds to fill out, and so let's do that together. Thank you so much for completing the connection card and signing our guest book. Now, every week here at Junior High, we have some friendly family competition, and today we are going to put your hand-eye coordination to the test. Here we go. All right, competitors, today your hand-eye coordination will be tested in a challenge called plummeting plates. You'll be attempting to catch paper plates that are dropped from above your head into a single stack while laying on your back. First, you'll need 11 paper plates. Next, you'll have a parent stand on a chair with a stack of 10 paper plates. Then, you'll lay on your back with your head at the front legs of the chair with a single paper plate in your hands. Your parent will count down from 3, and then they'll drop 1 plate at a time. You'll try and catch the falling plate on top of the plate that you're holding. The player with the most stacked on top of the plate they're holding will be the winner. Are you ready? Go catch some plummeting paper plates. right, how'd you do? Did you win? If you would let me know by taking the next 2 minutes to post a photo in our LakePoint Jr High Facebook group, you will have the chance to win a Tim Hortons gift card. Or if you don't have Facebook, you can just email me at ethan@lakepoint.church. All right, we are going to switch gears and head into the teaching portion of junior high. We're heading into week 4 of our series today called Into the Unknown. Check it out.
Everybody, my name's Ashley, and I'm so glad you're here. Right now, we're gonna talk about change. When we experience the unknowns that go along with changes in our lives, we all have different ideas about how they make us feel. Maybe you think some changes are good, like the starting spot on the team, or a new friend in your small group, or the growth spurt that finally makes you tall enough to ride that one cool roller coaster. Or maybe there's changes that don't seem so good. Your mom losing her job, or your sister getting sick, or suddenly failing your math class. No matter what kind it is, change is something we're all gonna experience. Now, let me ask you this. Have you ever tried to make a change in your life because you thought it would make your life better? Like eating more vegetables and less pizza, or studying for the test the night before instead of cramming 30 minutes before class, or putting your phone away and actually talking to your grandparent during dinner. I remember when I was in middle school and I really wanted to learn how to play the violin. So for Christmas one year, my dad bought me a violin. And he told me, all you need to do is practice 30 minutes a day. Will you promise me to practice 30 minutes a day? And I said, yes, I promise you. Now, I didn't take into consideration that I was already in the drama club and I had started a part-time job babysitting. So my TV time to me was so important, and every single day, I would watch TV for 30 minutes and I would do all my other chores and go to bed. Friends, I could not give up my TV time. I would come home, do my homework, babysit, practice on whatever play or skit I was in, and then watch TV on the time that I was supposed to be practicing the violin. So finally I said, okay, I've got to make a change. And it was one of the hardest things for me to do. And maybe you can relate. Even if it isn't the same as what I tried to change in my life, I'm sure there are some things in your life that you've thought about trying to change. For you, maybe it's school. Maybe you know your English grade could improve, but you also know that it will require more time studying and less time playing video games. And while bringing up your grade is important, you're not sure you have what it takes to put down the video game controller and pick up the books. Or maybe you need to get serious about practice like me. Whether it's soccer or orchestra or drama club, you know you're not giving it your all right now. You know that you need to put in just a little bit more work to actually do what you need to do for yourself and your team. Maybe you've tried, but the amount of time and energy it took felt like more than you had to give right now. Maybe you need to make a change in your friend group. You know, you're spending time with people who aren't the best for you. Being around them has changed the way you talk, the way you act, and the choices you make, and not in a good way. But you've been friends a long time, and you know how much effort it will take to make new friends. It just feels like an impossible change to make at this point. Or maybe it goes a little bit deeper for you. Maybe you've developed some habits that you know aren't really helpful in your life. Maybe it's the things you look at online that nobody knows about, or the hurtful comments that you post anonymously on social media, or the things you're doing in a dating relationship that you don't feel comfortable with, or the things you're curious about or even trying for the first time, like drugs or alcohol. You see what I mean? I think we can all come up with something that we know we need to change. But while the things that we need to change may look different for each of us, I think there's one thing we have in common. We know that actually making that change can be really hard to do. Why is that? If we know we need to make a change that might make our lives better, why don't we just do it? Well, maybe you're afraid to fail. Maybe you want to step out and make the change, but what if it doesn't work? What if you study and still don't pass? Or practice and still don't get the starting spot? Or try to make a new friend and then get rejected? That feels like a failure, and that isn't something that any of us want to experience. Or maybe you don't want to seem different. You don't want to stand out. If people see you trying to make a change in your life, they'll notice something is different about you. That you're not spending time with the people that you used to, or that you're not posting on social media as much, or you're not as into video games as you used to be. That kind of feels like a lot of attention, doesn't it? You want to make a change, but not if it means everyone is going to notice and know about it. Now, maybe you're worried about what other people will think. If you start changing things like your words or interests or choices or friends, will people think that you're being fake or judgmental or acting like you're better than them? That doesn't feel like something you want to deal with, does it? Or maybe honestly, that kind of change just feels overwhelming. It's one thing to say you're going to change, but to actually do it, well, that's gonna actually take some effort, and a lot of it. Between school, homework, practice, your chores at home, doing anything else just seems exhausting to think about. And listen, I get it. Sometimes the idea of making a change in my life makes me feel so overwhelmed. But I think all of the effort, all the work, and all the stuff that comes with making good changes in our lives can be worth it. In fact, I think God can actually do a lot for us when it comes to change. We just have to be willing to take the first step. To help you see what I mean, I want to read a little bit of a letter written by a guy named James. Okay, fun fact. James was actually the half-brother of Jesus. It's pretty crazy, right? I mean, can you imagine if the guy who shared your bathroom and sat at your dinner table and left his socks all over the house was not just your brother, but the actual Son of God? That was real life for James, and eventually he grew to be a believer in and follower of Jesus too. Now, before we get to what James wrote in his letter, let me give you a little background on what was going on at the time. During one of Jesus' last talks with his followers on earth, he told them that they would be his witnesses in their hometown and beyond. Now, what does this mean? Basically, that they would be the people who would spread the message of Jesus to people where they lived and places all over the world. And in order to do that, Jesus' followers had to make a change. They had to be willing to leave where they were and go out into the world and tell other people about Jesus. Now, of course, his followers were on board with the message of Jesus, but the idea of leaving their homes to share that message with other people in other places, well, that was a change they seemed scared to make. So at first, most of them stayed right where they were. But then something kind of awful happened. The early Christians who followed Jesus back then started to be harmed or threatened because of their beliefs. Some of them were even killed. And because this was happening, people ran from their cities and homes in order to stay safe. So with all that going on, James wrote a letter to encourage his fellow Christians during this scary change. And here's what he wrote. Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. Okay, let's get real for a second. None of us wants to actually do this, right? Consider our troubles a reason to have joy? The changes we're going through, the difficult stuff that we need to do to live better lives, we're supposed to have joy in that? No, thank you. Well, before we throw out this letter completely, let's just read one more thing. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. See, the reason we can find joy in the hard stuff is because those changes and troubles are for a reason. In fact, they can lead to something really great in our lives: endurance. Maybe you've heard this word before. The word endurance is usually associated with athletics. So when we train and we work hard over time, our bodies will get better at what we're doing. And the more we run, the longer we'll eventually be able to run. That's because we've built up endurance. The more we do it, the stronger we'll become. Think of it like an astronaut. Astronauts have to go through so much training before they get into space. They have to spend tons of hours in a classroom. They have to practice handling the equipment. They have to go on test flights and pretend spacewalks over and over. They have to do a lot to build their knowledge and endurance before they can even go out into space. All of the changes that they make and the work that they put in makes them better astronauts. It builds their endurance. The endurance that James wrote about works the same way. When we take a step towards making a change, we're working on building our endurance. When we decide to study more and pass that class, we do it once, and then we do it again and again and again. Is it always easy? No, but the more we do it, the easier it will get. The more we show up and keep trying and keep working through that change, the stronger we'll be. And the stronger we are, the more endurance we'll gain to keep working towards that change in our lives. And that endurance can help you be confident when everything changes. Essentially, James was saying that practice makes perfect. In other words, working towards change by pushing through the pain and hard stuff doesn't just make you better at the thing you're working on, it actually makes you better at change. You're developing the kind of endurance that will help you when you face any unknowns. And that's important because change and going into the unknown is something we're gonna face for the rest of our lives. Building endurance by making changes now can help you be better at the changes you face as you grow up. God can use the unknown to make us stronger. God can give us the strength to step out and make positive changes in our lives. God can help us build our endurance. God can help us be confident when everything changes. And that will help us stand strong when we face changes that we choose and changes that we don't. Of course, I realize that this idea doesn't get everybody excited about going and deciding to make a change in their life. Honestly, I think it probably felt that way for the people reading James's letter back then. I mean, these people were making a change to avoid being killed. That's a pretty risky thing to do. But James was trying to remind them of the same thing that I want us to remember today. Even when it's hard and uncomfortable and painful to go through, God can use that change to change us from the inside out. And I don't know about you, but just the idea of that is enough to make me want to give it a try. To start building the kind of endurance that can help me handle change. To start believing that God can use the unknown to make us stronger. I want you to try a couple of things this week. First, name one area of your life that you want to see change. Maybe it's your grades, or your friend group, or your TikTok habit, or your relationship with your mom. Maybe it's even your relationship with God. Whatever it is, just think about that one part of your life that you think would benefit from a change. Then, I want you to take just one step toward making that change. Just one. Maybe you choose to study for 15 minutes more, or sit at a new lunch table, or put your phone away at a certain time one night, or offer to help your mom with the cleaning. Even if it feels difficult, I want you to give it a try. Then, try it again. Keep trying it, in fact. Build a little endurance to make that change. When it gets easier, thank God for helping you build that endurance. And when it's hard, ask God for a little help to keep going. Ask God to help you remember that the work is building something big in you. Ask God to help you believe that the unknown can make you stronger. I know that making a change and going into the unknown can feel really scary, and it can be easy to think that you're the only one trying to figure it all out. And the truth is, you are not alone when it comes to navigating this whole change thing. That's actually why we have groups, so that you can share what you're going through and encourage each other along the way. Think about sharing what you want to change with the people in your group. Then, encourage each other to keep going when it feels difficult. Let's cheer each other on as we build the endurance to make a change in our own lives.
Listen, when someone is between 5th and 6th grade, People who are way smarter than me say that their confidence in their own abilities drops significantly. And because of that, their confidence to take on anything new, including change, is lower than it may have been before. And that doesn't mean that you're afraid of change. It just means that you might be afraid that you don't have what it takes to take on the hard things. And this is something that every single person on the planet goes through. It's completely normal. I went through it. Your parents went through it. Your older siblings went through it. So what we want to do today is just give you some tools that will not only help shape how you see yourself now, but also how you can consider handling change in the future. And so rather than looking ahead and thinking, I can't do that, we want to help you and encourage you to say, that looks hard, but because of God, I will get through it. So how do we get through it? How do we build up an endurance so we can get through the unknown? Well, number one, we can name an area in our life where we want to see change. And then, number two, we can take a step towards making that change. And if we fail or if it doesn't work out how we thought it might, we can keep trying over and over again to make that change. Remember, God can use change, and He can even use the unknown to make you stronger. Thanks for participating today, everyone. I hope you spent some time today as a family and had some really good discussion around today's message. And now before you go, remember to post a photo of your family participating today in our LakePoint Jr High Facebook group, and you can be the proud winner of a Tim Hortons gift card. Now to close our time this morning, take the next 2 minutes to pray together as a family, and then head to the LakePoint app to access our weekday devotionals that go along with our series. You'll find them in the Family Resources section. You can also find the link in the video description right below me. Also, make sure you sign up for Junior High Camp today. Today's the deadline, and that link is also in the video description below me. Have a wonderful week, friends. We'll see you next time.